What's good, guys? We back in second down and five. We got Tim, we got Dula back. I think James, I think he has to talk to Todd Coughlin right now. I think he's going to a retirement party, something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they're gonna have coffee, Danians, granola, and some grape juice and some prune juice. A big retirement party. All right, we're gonna start off with the NFC South, Carolina Panthers. Bella, I'm gonna tell you this right now. I know we've debated so many times about Cam Newton for what happened last year, but that was last year. Um, as far as his attitude, but he's a top quarterback. But here's the thing, and I will say this: regardless of how his attitude was in the championship game, we still cannot overlook how he carried the team the way he had. And for a quarterback that's so good, so just as good as he is, you want to surround him like you would surround Peyton Manning and Tom Brady if they were still playing. When I look at the receiving core, we all know Kevin Benjamin was out, but that was his sophomore year. Devin Funchess was his rookie year last year. He worked with Ted Ginn and Corby Brown. I want to see who's going to be that guy that will turn into a top five receiver that can and that receiver could go hand. And we all assume it's Benjamin, his 6'7" body, but that's the battle I'm looking for.
Um, I think their battle's going to be a cornerback. They lose Josh Norman.
Don't
Their
worry.
front seven is very good still. That defensive line is good. Those linebackers are top tier. But I look at the corners. You're talking about Robert McClain, Bradbury, Worley, Bennett Workey. Like, it's you look at it now and you're like, well, damn, Josh Norman really carried that secondary. If you look at the rest of those guys, it's not very inspiring. That front seven is going to have to play lights out to really help out the back four. But I think you're going to have a battle at cornerback trying to sort out who's going to, play on both of those sides. As far as on offense, I think Kelvin Benjamin's the guy. I don't think he's a burner down the field like, say, a Philly Brown or Ted Ginn, but he is 6'6", 240. Devin Funchess is going at 6'4", 220, so he has some really big receivers.
Enzo, a lot of touchdowns. All right, let's go to the Atlanta Falcons. I want to know, was it we all believe in fairy tales. We all heard a lot of fairy tale stories like Cinderella with the glass slipper. Take it off, she's regular. I want to know, was Devontae Freeman last year? He had a great year. Nobody saw this coming. He was going to be the backup guy to Tevin Coleman. That was pushing Coleman. He got hurt. Freeman went off and never looked back. I want to know, is that glass slipper for real? And if it's going to stay on for another season and with the same type of performance.
Mm-hmm. I want to know if Atlanta has finally figured it out on defense. Their head coach, who's their head coach again? He came from Seattle.
Yes, sir.
What's that? Quinn. Yeah, Quinn. He's supposed to be this defensive mastermind. It just hasn't come across. It hasn't come together yet. I think Jake Matthews at left tackle is going to take a big step and become the next great left tackle in the league. But looking at defense, I want to see if Vic Beasley's a player in this league.
Clemson. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want to see. I want to see how good is Desmond Trufant. I want to see this as a unit. They draft Keanu Neal to be kind of the strong safety linebacker type. I just want to see their defense stop someone.
Right.
They've been very good at that over the years.
All right, let's move on to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Hey, listen, we all know if Michael was here, with us, he can rave about this Buccaneer team with Winston at quarterback, Mike Evans and Troy Vincent. Okay, the running back is a solid unit. You have a lot of pieces. My thing is this: will Winston go to the sophomore slump? We all know he lost his offensive coordinator. No, the head coach, because they wanted to promote his offensive coordinator, who he did very well with, to head coach. I want to know if he will pass the jinx and he will continue to be better. This team looks like a playoff team in that division.
They're a very intriguing team because of Jameis Winston. Remember when everyone was like, "Oh, he's gonna bomb out this year"? Jameis Winston grew up fast and did not have a bad rookie season. I think they have a lot of young pieces. So you got guys like Donovan Smith, their left tackle. We're gonna see what he does in year 2. Ali Marpet, I was very high on him last year, coming out of Hobart College. We'll see how that gels together. On defense, they spent some high picks. They get Vernon Hargraves because that secondary isn't that great. They get Noah Spence because they're trying to figure out this pass rush. You got to get people around Gerald McCoy because his shelf life is going to start to diminish. You got to get guys around him. If their defense can pick it up and be a middle-of-the-road defense, you're talking about a team who could sneak in as a wild card. They have enough talent.
All right. We go to the New Orleans Saints. I mean, we still got the 3-4 defense. What's his name? This guy's brother. The defensive coordinator. He went to the Bills with his brother. Right. The Ryans. There you go. He's not with the Saints no more, but they still have a 3-4 defense. Sheldon Rankins, your guy. He's the starting on one side of the line with Bobby Richardson. That's gonna. Yeah. Cam Jordan.
Cam Jordan is going to be the other. I think Rankins is playing nose tackle.
Yeah, nose tackle. Excuse me. So my whole thing with Sheldon Richardson is he got the experience with Cam Jordan. My whole thing is how fast can he progress to make that line good. Once that line is set, the linebackers, the secondary, all can follow through and get better. Offense is still pretty good.
Offense is good, although I think this is Drew Brees' last hurrah. I think it's about over for him. I think he's owed some obscene amount of money. I think it's upwards of $30 million. You don't want to pay a quarterback that when you know you're going to go 5-11 anyway. You want to get more players. That again, it's a team where on defense they've been historically bad over the last 4 years. Geez, I mean, can they not be the bottom 5 defense? If they're not a bottom 5 defense, who knows what can happen. But man, they've been horrible on defense.
Well, listen, we're gonna move on to the AFC East. Now, I gotta ask you this, Bella. I wanted to ask you this so much this quarter. Okay, and Patriots fans, Jacob, my brother, don't get mad. Don't be mad. But it's reality. We all know Tom Brady is suspended for the first 4 games of the season. I don't question the Patriots roster at all, but I'll have one question. Can Tom Brady be replaced the same way he replaced Drew Bledsoe? And what I'm asking is this. Jimmy Garoppolo, we all want to know how fast can he grow up in his first 4 games, right? We all want to know that.
Yeah.
So, let's just say Jimmy Garoppolo goes 4-0. Do you keep him man while he's hot, or do you sit him down?
You sit him.
You sit him?
Yeah, you sit him. I don't care if
he's
4-0. Tom Brady's your guy. Listen, Drew Bledsoe did a lot for the Patriots, but Drew Bledsoe didn't get them 5 rings.
No doubt.
4 rings. Sorry, however many rings they got, 4 rings. Tom Brady's done that for you. You don't sit the guy, especially when it's not like he is. It's not like he's hitting a Brett Favre-esque type decline in talent. He's still. Tom Brady's going to play into his 40s. I'll tell you that right now. Barring in major, he'll play until 41 probably. The guy's just been that fortunate, that good. No, I don't think so. I think if they go 4-0, Garoppolo sits, and you know what? Do not be surprised if a team starts calling like, hey, I got a second rounder for Garoppolo.
All right, no doubt. They have a good roster too. Michael Bennett, and Gronk to be nasty tight ends. Fantasy. New York Jets. We all know our sis Trisha. She went out to bake some cookies and cakes and bring it to Fitzpatrick's house. So hopefully he will sign, because this is already we already going into August, Della, and that man, who's the starter? Geno Smith, the starting quarterback. My God, Sean, listen, if they call you, Sean, throw that rock, man. You can make some money being on the Jets roster.
What are you talking about?
The Jets need a quarterback, so sign up, because this is crazy. We're already in the end of July, and they might go into the training camp without Fitzpatrick, just with Geno Smith. I know they just signed Muhammad Wilkerson for a big deal, but you got to have a quarterback in there, and we already know if Fitzpatrick has been, in football shape, because he didn't attend none of the camps they had earlier. So my question is, if Fitzpatrick's not there, how well would Geno Smith do? Trish, we all know you out there trying to, you baking some cookies and cakes, bring it to Fitzpatrick's house. You better convince the man to come back if they have a chance of making the playoff, because Brady's out for the first 4 games of the year. The AFC East, but got to take advantage of this. They got to take advantage of this.
Unfortunately, no team in the AFC East is equipped to take advantage of it, unfortunately. The Patriots could go 0-4 and still win that division.
Jesus Christ.
That's the talent disparity between them and the other 3 teams. But as far as the Jets go, listen, I mean, they drafted their quarterback of the future, Christian Hackenberg. He won't play at all this year. But why not roll the dice on Geno Smith? If Ryan Fitzpatrick can get you 10 wins, you figure maybe Geno Smith can get you, I don't know, a respectable record. Again, I don't think they'll be in the playoff hunt, but
right.
I don't think all is lost. We'll see what Geno Smith can do. We'll say that. It'll be fun to watch.
Listen, they need to do something ASAP. But I'm gonna give it a shot. And I'm gonna support my man Randy Brown again, who's a big Dolphin fan, and I think the Miami Dolphins are the best team to take over if how bad the Patriots fall. I love the roster. I really do. They have a new coach. They just signed. My whole thing is the running game. Okay, you're going in there with Abby Foster and G.R. Gigi. Abby Foster has a ton of experience, but the injury. G.R. Gigi only played half the season. Okay, so to me, that's the area that I feel is the low point of the Dolphins right now. Who's going to be that guy to help carry the team with Tannehill? Other than that, I think Miami Dolphins got this division just because of the first 4 games of the season.
Looking at cornerback, Byron Maxwell, Xavier Howard, Bobby McClain, Tony Lippett, I'm not really impressed. But, Byron Maxwell will be an upgrade. I don't know how good of an upgrade it's going to be, though. They got Ndamukong Suh. They get Mario Williams, who I think will come back to form back in a 4-3 defense, rushing the passer. This is going to be a bold prediction, but this year we're going to see that Ryan Tannehill is fool's gold. Ryan Tannehill is not the quarterback people think he's going to become. I don't think he's going to be that good.
Wow.
Even and what he did with Jay Cutler, I still think Tannehill's overrated.
Okay, we got the Buffalo Bills.
Speaking of overrated.
There you go. And listen, I don't care. I'm tired of everybody saying Buffalo's going to beat the Patriots. Listen, I know the Ryans, they have the scheme and everything, but you need an offense. I don't understand how can you be all complaining about Tyrod Taylor, a good quarterback, but you got Sammy Watkins who's barely show up. And here's my prediction, D. I feel that Sammy Watkins would not be a Buffalo Bill after when his contract ends with OBJ and Evans and the rest of the guys who came out that class in 2014. I don't see Sammy Watkins returning to the Bills. So somebody's gonna grab a talented but disgruntled receiver. Somebody got to come out. Robert Woods, Marquise Goodwin. My God, we got guys at 2-minute warning who could play for this. Who could play for the Bills right now?
Right.
Truth be truth.
here's the beauty about, and here's what I'm going to say about Buffalo, and this is it.
Mm-hmm.
Their quarterback of the future is on that roster. It's not Tyrod Taylor, though.
Nah. Ohio State.
Emmanuel either. It's Cardell Jones.
Yes, sir. You called it.
Cardell Jones.
You called it.
I think that is their quarterback of the future. I think Tyrod Taylor's a stopgap. I think he's overrated. I think while Kirk Cousins may be the real deal in Washington, I think Tyrod Taylor, if you look at his stats, under pressure, he's not good. And he's too erratic for me. I just think he's a feel-good story for now, but he's not their future quarterback.
All right, we go to this. I agree with you. Cardell Jones is AFC West. Sean Della. You know what? And Della, I took your advice on the Raiders. I looked at this roster. For some reason, I want to grow my hair, get Jerry curls, and I want to wear a black hat. Like back in the days. You know how he was rocking Jerry curls with the black hat, like Ice Cube? Because this team on paper is nasty. On paper is nasty. And, now that we talk about battles, and I look at this squad, man, and here's my thing. And again, it's the running. I like the defense. Defense is stacked. Just the running game. The Chavis Murray and Tyron Jones. You got Roy Halou there. I'm not so thrilled about that. To me, that's the weakling of the team. To me, everything else is fantastic. I think Raider fans this year will be rocking Jerry curls and wearing a black hat. But that running game, that's what hurts me.
I mean, yeah, I think this team is getting better and better, and their young pieces are actually fitting together. Two things about this team. One thing that makes me curious, Derek Carr is your quarterback of the future, but they burned a fourth rounder on Connor Cook. I'm not sure why, really.
Right.
Fourth round is still mid-round, but I think they traded up for him too. Why? I don't know. Maybe it's the idea of, you want to have a strong backup or groom a strong backup.
Right.
I'm going to make a very bold prediction, and people are going to, troll or whatever. Who's the best overall defensive player in this NFL right now, would you say?
I would definitely want to go with J.J. Watt, in my opinion.
I think Khalil Mack takes that step and becomes the best defensive player in the league this year.
Yes.
Whether it's a defensive end or linebacker, I think he's the best defensive player in the league, Khalil Mack.
Yeah, he went off last year at that linebacker spot. There wasn't even comparison between him and Von Miller. Okay, we got the Denver Broncos. Unfortunately, Peyton Manning's retired, so all we're going to go with is Mark Sanchez and Patrick Lynch. The last guy we should be mentioned because he's only hold the clipboard. So here's the thing. I believe Mark Sanchez will have a good year. Why? Solid defense, the best offensive weapon he's ever had in his career between the Jets and the Eagles, a better coach than he had with the Eagles, and just a better team. I think he will manage this team very well, but I still have the Raiders as my number one team in that division.
I think the Broncos will be okay. They still have pieces on defense. They lose Trevathan and Jackson, but they have capable guys that can step up in those positions. Mark Sanchez is a wait-and-see thing. If he's just a game manager, this can be a 9 to 10 win team. I don't think the Raiders have it yet. I think really the next team, the Chiefs, I think they win the division ultimately. But I like Oakland's potential, and I don't think Denver's going to fall off a cliff either.
But you know what, Della? You hit at the mark when you said manage. The Kansas City Chiefs, listen, we're talking about an offense that on paper looks very explosive. I mean, I'm gonna keep it so real. Alex Smith they manage. Andy Reid, and no disrespect, Sean, we don't want to get in trouble for this, but Andy Reid gotta take the nipple out of Alex Smith's mouth and let that man zip that ball. When we're talking about Jeremy Maclin, you got Albert Wilson, who's solid, and your tight end, you got Travis Kelce. Three solid back. Excuse me, one of the best backs in the league with Jamal Charles, added with Kendrick West and Spencer Ware. This offense is lit, but it's the same thing. Short passes, dink and dunk. You put in Jamal Charles at receiver, at running back. I'm surprised he didn't put him at the O-line spot. This team is great on offense, but Andy Reid doesn't get a lot explosive with this team. To me, take the nipple out the mouth and let Alex Smith zip that ball. Should not be managing.
See, unfortunately, I'm going to disagree because when they took the nipple out the mouth in San Francisco, Alex Smith was bad.
Hey, the playoff, New Orleans. Remember that game? You went off.
When Jim Harbaugh came around and put the nipple back in his mouth and said, listen, I just need you to manage. Alex Smith looked good all of a sudden. Now, you would expect for a former number 1 overall pick to not be a game manager, but that's what he is. He's great at it. Let him continue to be great at it, and the wins will continue. They still are great on defense. They have a stable of running backs, receiver, tight end. They got Travis Kelce. He's not going to throw for a ton of touchdowns to his receivers, but it's a slow plodding offense that will get the job done.
Okay, the Chargers, San Diego Chargers. I want to see the hype on Joey Bosa. I know you said in the draft, Della, that Bosa is not J.J. Watt. He does have the size, he got the frame, but he's regular. I just want to see what type of defensive play is Bosa going to be, and some very good highlights. I want to see some highlights out here. I'm not trying to say he needs to be like J.J. Watt, but I want to see something. I want to see the hype on this guy.
I'm going to tell you who I think J.J. Watt is. I think J.J. Watt is Justin Smith, which isn't a bad player. Justin Smith was a very good player.
You mean Bosa, right?
What's up?
You said Bosa is Justin Smith, right?
I think he's Justin Smith. I think he's
okay.
Because he's not as athletic as J.J. Watt is. He's not as quick twitch off the line. I think he's Justin Smith, which is very good. I think
right.
it's going to be a rough year for the Chargers. I'll say that. I think they're a year away.
Sean, you want us to go through?
Well, I mean, yeah, you could probably go just quick.
We got two more teams. We got two more. We got two more.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we got the Baltimore Ravens. I know my bro's looking right now like watch my mouth, but I got to keep it real, man. Hey, listen, when you look at the receiving core, you got Steve Smith. All right, Steve Smith is a bad mother. You know what? But at the same time, you got Kamar Akins, you got Rashad Perryman. You need somebody to, again, it's the same thing like I said with the Cardinals. These 33, 34-year-old receivers are not supposed to be the main guys. Where are the young studs to emerge? Kamar Akins came out last year, but that's because there was tons of injuries. I want to see this man perform and join the ranks of the upcoming receivers.
As far as they go, I mean, they drafted Rashard Perryman very high.
Right.
I'm curious. I mean, they drafted Ronnie Stanley, 6th overall, so he'll come in at left tackle. Flacco. All right, here's the thing about Joe Flacco. He got paid like a top-tier elite quarterback.
Right.
Ever since that Super Bowl, he's been up and down.
Right.
I want to see $100 million Joe Flacco. I want to see the guy who went on a tear in the playoffs when they won that Super Bowl.
Okay, look.
That's what I want to see. Otherwise, he's no different than Matt Ryan.
No doubt. All right, we're going with the Bengals. Maxwell, my brother. Listen, I like the Bengals in this division next year. But Della, you said number 2 receiver. I'm gonna steal a note from your book. Who's the number 2 receiver with the Bengals? The Detroit Lions took their number 2 receiver, who I think is going to perform very well over there. So you got A.J. Green, and who else? Brandon Tate, Brandon LaFell. I mean, they did draft Tyler Boyd from Pitt, who, he's a rookie, but who's going to fill up that number 2 spot? That's going to be important because A.J. Green is going to be covered like flying, and you know what?
Mm-hmm. No, I absolutely agree. AJ Green's their top guy. We'll see who. I think Brandon LaFell is going to be the number 2 ultimately, but I think they drafted Tyler Boyd for that.
Okay, moving on. We're moving on to Reggie Brown's team, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Hey, listen. I'm gonna say it again. Who's gonna be the guy to replace Martavis Bryant, who was suspended for the year? And forgot the brother's name, Mr. Grimes, in 2 minute warning. He put something on. He says, "Yo, we gotta watch out for Sammy Coates. Don't look at Marcus Wheaton too much. Look out for Sammy Coates from the Pittsburgh Steelers to be that sleeper, that guy to come in and be in the number 2 spot behind Antonio Brown. I want to see how that brother performs."
Yeah, no, Pittsburgh's been very good with receivers. You know, whether it's Antonio Brown, Emmanuel Sanders, Mike Wallace, Wheaton, who else? Who was the Martavius Bryant?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Coates is the next guy up there. I just wonder on defense, especially in that linebacker core, is Jarvis Jones going to come to anything to fruition? Or was he a bust?
Hey, Tim,
Yes, you're right.
Tim.
Yes, sir.
You just jumped to the north. That's the third down. You want to start over for the third down?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah.
All right,
bad.
let's just go through. Okay, this is also third down, guys. Let's go.
All right.
But no, and you know they drafted they drafted Artie Burns cause that secondary has always been a sore spot for them. I think they reached on Artie Burns greatly, but I think they panicked because I think the Bengals took William Jackson III, and you know I thought there was a guy.
Right.
You know, I look at this team again, full of potential. Ben Roethlisberger is getting a little long in the tooth, though. He's, you know, his play is going to start declining soon, just because of the physicality of him. He takes a lot. He dishes out some pain too, but he's taking his hits.
Okay. All right. Well, for this team right here, Sean, can me, you, and Della, I know we can't hold hands because we on the computer, but can we put our hands up and join in prayer? You know, there's only one member in 2 minute warning who is a fan of the Cleveland Browns. And, you know, when I heard that, I had a tear come down my eye because I was like, you are a fan. And when we're talking about, I forgot his name, but I will message him because I'm going to tell you this. When you talk about position battles, I mean, I think it's the whole offense. The defense, I'll leave alone a little bit. I love you, Jackson. I'm a big fan of you, Jackson. He's a good coach. I think RG3 will do pretty good, but the whole offense, you don't know who's what. Especially Corey Coleman, your rookie from Baylor. Della, did you see that boy's face when he got drafted by the Browns? The man had tears come out his eye. I think he was like trying to, listen, I think I smoked something like 2 years ago. Let me go low in the draft. Let me go to a better team because I don't think nobody want to go to the Browns, but the whole team needs to get work. No doubt about that. I say two games they win. 2.
With the number 1 overall pick in the 2017 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns take Deshaun Watson, quarterback Clemson. No, in all seriousness,
not Fournette.
What?
Not Fournette from LSU.
Nah, Deshaun.
We can't wait for Della's mock draft. I can't wait now for next year's mock draft.
All right. I mean, but about the Browns, though, I think they drafted about 4 or 5 receivers because, Jesus Christ, they had no one on that roster. And even after drafting, it's not an inspiring group. That whole team, I feel bad for them. I really do. And this is coming from a guy who's a fan of a team who went 0-16. But ever since they came back into the league, they haven't gotten it right yet. They're on how many starting quarterbacks? RG3 comes in. I want the best for RG3, but I don't think it's going to happen. Not because RG3 is bad, but because the rest of that team is terrible. It's not a great roster at all.
I wonder if 2 minutes. I'm Sean. I wonder if 2 minute warning was to buy the Cleveland Browns, and we could, take roles and be manager and coach. We may do a better job. I think. I really do think that. I really do think we would have managed a roster. I give it a shot. Yeah, I think we would do it.
A 4-year-old probably.
I think so. Della, you know you're the head scout, man. You know you got that part. All right. The Tennessee Titans. Hey, listen, and I want to laugh at it. I know my boy Ronald, Monaco, we're gonna laugh at this one. DeMarco Murray and Derrick Henry, the Heisman Trophy winner. I'm gonna say this: DeMarco Murray is gonna wish he never ever left Dallas again. That boy would not be the guy going forward the rest of the year. Watch out for Derrick Henry. And I'm going to say another guy to watch out for who is not given a chance, Bishop Sankey.
Is
If
he
he
still
gets
in the Eagles?
cut, I think he's going to Philadelphia.
Sorry, go ahead.
Is DeMarcus Murray still in the Eagles?
Nah, Tennessee Titans. They traded him.
Oh, they traded him. Okay.
God bless him.
As far as the Tennessee Titans go, it's an intriguing team. It's a very intriguing team. I don't think they're there yet, but Marcus Mariota at quarterback, that's their guy. They get Derrick Henry. I'm a big defensive guy. They play that 3-4. They got Jarrell Casey, is an underrated defensive end in that 5 technique. They have some pieces. They really do. But they're only going to go as far as Marcus Mariota goes and as who's their coach, Mike Mularkey?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
No. I don't think it's going to be that great of a year for Tennessee. But it's a wide open division there. We'll say that.
Right. Okay.
It's a weird thing because on one hand I'm intrigued. On the other hand, I don't know, man.
Okay. We're going to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars. I know Duke Ellington and 2 Minute Warning, he is the only Jacksonville Jaguars fans. I will definitely be keeping an eye on that because I don't want to see no bandwagon. Jacksonville Jaguars are bad. I think it's the next youngest team with the Raiders who will be making the playoffs. I love the receiving core. I love the running game. I love the quarterback. I love the defense. I love everything that's going on. I tell you this. They're going to get better and better at camp. I got nothing wrong with this. I see nothing wrong with this team except for Jalen Ramsey, who wants to get paid like a corner, and he's a safety. I just want to see how they use him. That's the only thing I want to see.
I think this is a team where, unlike the Titans, they're intriguing, and they have a quarterback that's shown that he can be a big-time player. Blake Bortles is a stud. They have 2 stud receivers in Robinson and Hearns, and they got Marquise Lee working out that slot.
Right.
They got a stable of running backs with Denard Robinson, T.J. Yeldon. Who else? Chris Ivory was a good pickup. And defense, listen, they cleaned up. They got Jalen Ramsey.
They did.
They get Miles Jack, who looks like he's going to play this season. They already had talent there. No, I would not be surprised if this is a 10-11 win team. They smell a lot like the Minnesota Vikings did last year. I'll say that.
Hey, listen, the next team is the Colts. I'm going to give a shout out to Tyrone Davis and Sherman Waters, 2 Colts fans. And I know there was a lot of disagreement with Andrew Luck being the highest paid quarterback in NFL history. But he's got paid off of his talent, how young he is, and the Colts will never have to worry about having a young quarterback. But I'm going to tell you this. The only problem I have with the Colts ever, I just don't like T.Y. I really never did because he's paid like a receiver who could do it all, but he only can go deep. But then again, you look at the receiving core, who else does he have around him that can open up lanes? Dante Moncrief is a second-year guy. Philip Dorsett is a second-year guy who I think is going to be something in that slot. So that's the only, especially running back. Frank Gore, Robin Turbin, and you got Jordan Todman. Excuse me, Robert Turbin just got in trouble, so he might not be a Colt for a minute. So the running game and the receiving core, and I know with the July training camp cuts, you gotta watch out. I have a feeling Jamal Charles will not be a Chief for a minute. I have a feeling Jamal Charles will be in a Colts or an Eagles uniform.
This is a team where they're, I'm not worried about them on defense. On offense is my worry. They drafted Ryan Kelly in the first round to kind of be the tone setter in the middle of the offensive line at center. I think
Mm-hmm.
he had a pretty good rookie season. You know, when you look at receiver, like you said, you got T.Y. Hilton, you got Dante Moncrief, you got Philip Dorsett, who was a first-round pick last year.
Right.
Um,
Small though.
yeah, they're all smaller type receivers. I think T.Y. Hilton's about 5'9"-ish.
Yeah.
Um, they're smaller, quicker receivers. My thing is with them at running back, how much does Frank Gore have left? I don't think he has a lot left.
Yeah.
Robert Turbin, Jordan Todman. It looks like you have a bunch of guys at running back. Andrew Luck, listen, if he can elevate this offense to a top-tier offense, I think he deserves his money. But I just don't see it happening. I see this being a middle-of-the-road offense.
All right.
I
Let's
get
move on. Let's move on.
last team, Sean. Here's a team that me and the guys at 2-1, we went a lot of disagreements, and I know Victor was saying they got a top defense, and they do. I just don't feel their offense, and I'm sorry. I listen. I'm not feeling Brock Osweiler play 7 games. 7 games. He signed to be the savior. Okay, I'm not so high on Lamar Miller, who you look at Adrian Foster. All he did was switch spots. They switched spots. They switched teams. I think Foster's the better running back when healthy. Lamar Miller is just a regular running. He's not like a McCoy guy. And DeAndre Hopkins, don't get me wrong, he's an up-and-coming receiver. He's a top 5, what people say. But then you got Will Fuller, okay? You got Braxton Miller. Those are 2 young receivers. So when you look at those young guys, you know that guys like Cecil Short, who was a vet, going to get cut. It's a young offense. Young and experienced offense is going to look like once the veteran receivers get cut. Brock Osweiler only got 7 games. Different offense. It's not like somebody on the Broncos squad who he's been with went to the Texans. So you got to run a whole new offense. Basically the Tom Brady offense a little bit. I don't like the running game so much. Hopkins is only their real bright spot.
I think ultimately that's your division winner in that division, the Texans.
I got the Colts.
And
I'm Jacksonville.
here's why. Everyone said, Nuke Hopkins is a top 5 receiver. I think he's a top 3.
Right.
I think, listen, look at his numbers. His quarterbacks are Brian Hoyer, Ryan Mallett, and Brandon Wheaton.
Right.
Brock Osweiler is easily better than those 3. Is he much better? Maybe not, but I think now that, Nuke Hopkins has Will Fuller, Braxton Miller, Jalen Strong, Keith Mumphrey, I think the pressure's going to come off of him a little bit, and it's going to help him out a lot. I would not be surprised to see him lead the league in yards, receiving yards, or any major. I would not be surprised.
Yeah, I can see it happening. He's the number 1 guy.
He's going to throw the ball a lot.
Yeah, listen, I respect the fact that you said he's a top 3 receiver behind Dez and Antonio Brown. I like your attitude, Bella. I respect that. I really do.
All right, bro.
It's one love, Victor. I respect that.
All right, bro.
Sean, we are done with the division, Sean. We are done with all the divisions, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're almost close to a season. We have a fantasy special with Fury fantasy special that we're going to be talking about, too. Hopefully we have a great season where the regular guys come back together. It's going to be great, guys. Football is back. Cold cuts. Any last words before we head out, guys?
Yeah, speaking of fantasy football, I just want to say that the champ is here, and so my list: Sarita, Josh, Justin, of course, my man Della, Mike, Cooper, Victor, Mike, Sean, all you guys. I hope you guys are studying. Hope you've been studying, because it's time. It's time. The champ is here. The champ is here.
On that note, guys, that's our show. We see you guys again next time. same time, same place.
Cold
Easy.
cuts.
Cold cuts. Cold cuts.